Oh yeah, so thank you guys for coming to Memory Card, our panel. Gotta be honest with you, way more people than I was expecting, so thank you guys for showing up.
He doesn't know that I'm actually paying all of you to be here, so just keep that a secret. Don't let him know.
Alright, so, so the way we're gonna do this, part of it's audience participation, so for those that are willing to share some video game related memories as we go on through the presentation. I think that our the standing mic there, maybe we could just form a line for each whoever wants to answer that question. So yeah, that's how we'll do it. Let's start it.
That was a high production.
Not bad, right guys? Not bad. That's pretty good. Alright, so let's
Can't go full screen, but you can do that.
So you're probably wondering, who the heck are these guys, right? So I'm Cody. Cody collects online. Usually we're talking about comic book stuff, but today we're not. We're just talking about video games. So I am a co-host of the Color Break, a comic book podcast, and I have no mustache. And then this is my buddy Christian.
I do have the mustache, by the way. Everything about me is that. Yeah, but I make videos about comic books, and I played video games when I was like 6, and now I'm back here.
Yeah, I like to say that before I got really into comic books, it was video games. That was kind of like my first love, I guess. So yeah. And then Drew's our special guest. Drew, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Drew. I go by so I'm online all over the place. Drew Deficit. There's an X in the middle, but it's silent. So I'm a teacher by day, but I also I semi-professional. I'm a comic book writer. I also wrote a video game. I wrote the script to Justice League Cosmic Chaos. If you have like 8-year-old nephews or nieces or children yourself, they may have played it. And if they haven't, well,
It's actually really good, guys. So I definitely would recommend it. It's kind of like a for all ages type of adventure. So yeah.
And he makes no money from us saying that. So.
None at all.
And also, I think if you buy it now, he also doesn't make money. That's right.
No, I don't make any money off of it. I'm just really proud of it, and I really liked getting to work on it. So that's it was a lot of fun. And I usually do make videos about comic books as well. The three of us kind of met via TikTok, where we were talking about comics and other types of storytelling media, which is where we kind of developed this like, hey, we also all like video games. Isn't that weird? And then, this is the second time we've had a discussion together about it.
Yep, that's true. I kind of hate when people put definitions in their slideshow, but I had to do it to you guys. So, nostalgia, right? That's why we're all here, okay? I guess when I was kind of thinking of the panel, I just really like talking about video games. I don't get to do it very much lately, so I think that while the world's burning outside, we're all just holed up in here. Let's just talk about some video games. So I'm gonna ask you guys, if we say like a video game thing and you remember it, give me a couple of whoops, all right? Give me a couple of whoops if you remember the thing we're talking about. That's the only thing I ask of you guys. We're gonna get into it. Like I said, there's gonna be, I think there's 5 questions. We're gonna go and do our answers, and then, like I said, as we're answering, if whoever wants to answer, please step up to the standing mic. Did I mention there's prizes? Oh. Yeah, there's prizes too. So nothing too crazy, guys. All right? I don't want you guys to be thinking that all the prizes are gonna be crazy, but we do have some hardcover like video game and comic book related stuff. So these would be the prizes at the very end for audience participation, and then as we're going through, we also have like digital codes and stuff. So I don't know if you guys win that. Email me after. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out how to get these two. But all right, so yeah, let's get into it. So the first question we got: what are some video games that mean a lot to you and why? So I go first. First game I want to talk about. First game that means a lot to me. Gotta give it to Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. Anybody play this? Give me a couple of whoops. Yep. So this game was on the Game Boy Advance, dude. Who likes the Game Boy Advance? That thing's sick, right? Best handheld? Best handheld? I don't know. So the reason why I like Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga, I guess at the point when I played it, I wasn't like into RPGs. I think I was like too young. So this was kind of like the first RPG that I really got into. Let's see what we got here. For those that don't know what the game looks like, we gotta.
That's me. I don't know what that game looks like.
Yeah, let's show it, dude. Yeah, I did all these screen recordings last night, so. And also, because the trailers are like the original trailers, it kind of looks all washed out. But it's like a top-down. You're running around the Mushroom Kingdom and all the different other kingdoms. Mario and Luigi. There's all these different like abilities and stuff. Cat Coletta, I think is the villain's name, and I forgot what the little guy's name was. But I just really fell in love with this game because I just really had never played a game like it, and then the fact that you can take it everywhere on the Game Boy Advance, I thought was really cool. And funny thing about this game, I never beat it. I was stuck on the last level. Does anyone remember that last level? Anyone gets the last level? It's kind of tough, man. So to this day, I still haven't beat it. My Game Boy Advance blue one has this game plugged in, and it's still like, you know, I think the battery's still alive. I checked right before I left it in my apartment. I forgot to pack it for this trip, but the Game Boy, without even charging it for however many years, still has battery somehow. And yeah, I booted it up, still stuck at the last level, so yeah, awesome. I think they also, they remastered this game, but for some reason they put it on, I want to say they put it on like the Wii U when they put it on the 3DS when the Switch was out at that point, right? Which I just thought was just a crazy, I don't know, it makes sense to me. But yes, that's the first game that I really have a lot of fond memories with. Maybe one day I'll beat that last level. Next game, anybody play Uncharted 2 Among Thieves? This is kind of a basic answer, right? So like, I'm a young guy, right? So I haven't played like a lot of the classics, you know, like 90s, 80s, NES type of thing. I'm very much in like the PS2 type of generation. That's kind of what I grew up on. But Uncharted 2, so I think the reason why I like Uncharted 2 so much, I have a lot of fond memories with it regarding my mom. So whenever I would play Uncharted 2, for some reason my mom wanted to like sit down. She's not very interested in video games otherwise, but she's always wanted to watch me play Uncharted 2 until I beat it. And then she wanted me to watch me play on like the harder mode. I'm like, it's kind of hard. but yeah, so I don't know, just like I just have so many memories tied to my mom while I'm playing this, and when I replayed it 2 years ago, just like all the different memories were coming back, and it was just super interesting to experience it like that. So yeah, just all the different cutscenes. I think Naughty Dog did a really great job with this game. Still holds up today, obviously. So yeah. And then third game I want to talk about, Sly 2 Bandit.
We walked in today and someone right in front of us was like dressed like Sly Cooper.
Yep.
And Cody's just like, yo, dog. Like, while we're like following this person, it was great.
Yep.
Are you the person dressed as Sly Cooper? Are you here?
I know, I was going to ask that guy. So for those that don't know, I gotta have gameplay for this, man, because, let's see. So, let me pull it up here. Yeah, so Sly Cooper. For those that don't know, it's a stealth action game developed by Sucker Punch Productions, I think. And you play as Sly Cooper, titular character. You're like a raccoon. You're running around. It's a, like I said, it's a stealth game. So as you see here, you're like climbing on everything. The pickpocketing mechanic was always really cool to me. Yeah, I don't know, this game just really, I think at the time too, it was a PS2 game, and I didn't have any other games, so this was like the only game I could play for a little bit there. So yeah, just have a lot of fond memories playing Sly 2. And I think that it's probably just remastered, huh? I want to play it again. Look at the trailer, I'm just like, so those are the other characters I was telling you about, the Murray, the hippopotamus, and then you got Bentley the turtle. Yeah, I just think the characters are really strong, and I really like the cel-shaded art style. I think it, you know, even the art style just holds up today. So yeah, it's like Sly 2.
I may be remembering this wrong, but wasn't it like a period of time when Sony was like trying to push Sly Cooper as like their new mascot?
Dude, I think he could, man. I don't know why they.
And then just kind of like went away.
Yeah, I don't know why
the
the
games
Sly.
didn't sell
I don't know why the Sly series has been so dormant. They did a 4th game on the PS3, I believe, but I don't know. I think Sly could come back, man. I think he holds up for sure. So yeah.
Maybe they do like a grizzled version of like Sly.
He's like older.
He's old and like,
I'm down for that,
I'm
man.
gonna do one last job.
I'm really down for that. So yeah, I think next up we've got. Oh my goodness, I'm getting lost here with the cursor. All right, next up I believe is Christian. Lay it on me, dude. Oh no, it's not. My runner's up. All right. So let me do some. Anybody remember Mario Kart? We don't talk about this one too much. Everybody knows Mario Kart. Everybody loves Mario Kart. But I did want to, I guess, just talk about some reasons why Mario Kart is such an important series to me. So I guess my wife, I gotta start saying wife now. We got eloped April 8th, so it's very new for us. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Same day as the eclipse, though. That's a little special, I guess. But you know, we started dating sophomore year of high school. At that time, the Wii U was out, so we would just play Mario Kart 8 all the time. Like that was our game. And then even to this day, like we'll still boot up Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch. Whenever the new DLCs were dropped, me and my girlfriend or me and my wife were on it. So yeah, I think that Mario Kart is just because it's so accessible. You know, anybody can pick it up and play it, and you don't need to learn how to drift to even do well. So yeah, I think Mario Kart's really great. And then I got one more runner-up. All right, so all of these guys. Yeah, okay. So like, obviously Fallout New Vegas is great, right? Obviously, everybody knows that. I haven't played it since I got the Ultimate Edition on the PS3, because I did one playthrough and I beat all the DLCs, and I haven't played it till this day, but it still holds like a special place in my heart. I just really like the Fallout universe and stuff. And on the flight here, I was watching Fallout, the Amazon show. I gotta get back into Fallout, man. So I think when we get back, I'm literally gonna download Fallout and just do a Fallout New Vegas run, because yeah, I'm just really into Fallout right now. So yeah, now it's just been
pretty good. I feel like for me, gaming was always something I did not do at all. I would just sit behind my cousins as they played. And Voodoo Vince was the first game I ever played on my own.
Anybody play Voodoo Vince?
No problem.
We got a couple weeks. All right, let's do. Just while you're talking about it, I'll pull up some gameplay.
It came out in like 2006. Nobody heard of it except for me, and I always liked it. You're just a voodoo doll running around fighting monsters. It's a cute, silly game. That's everything I like. And yeah, it's horrible video quality, by the way. They did remaster it once. It still looks horrible now.
But it's one of those things too. Like I think with this art style, it kind of, I don't know. It doesn't look as dated as I guess other games in this this kind of time frame, because I don't know. I think it's got a really strong art style. So
It reminds me of Psychonauts.
Oh yeah, you have to like, if you're defeating a boss, you have to kill yourself because you're a voodoo doll, and that kills them. That's great. Also, how many games have you played where you have to ride a rat wearing a cowboy hat?
right there.
There you go. Look at that.
Couldn't plan that any better.
That doesn't happen often. That's why that's probably my favorite game of all time. Also, the entire soundtrack is jazz. And that just makes me happy. Yeah, that's Voodoo Vince.
It takes place in New Orleans, right? Like that's the. So yeah, Voodoo Vince.
No worry, we're gonna go really basic now.
Just throws out like that super hit.
My favorite video game is Minesweeper.
I think Skyrim, honestly, it's gonna sound super lame. The only reason why I bought Skyrim is because a YouTuber I liked, Anthony Padilla from Smosh. I don't know if anyone cares. He just said that's his favorite game, and I was like, I better play it. And I think I've played through Skyrim like 5 times. And to this day, I've decided not to play with mods, because if I play with mods just once, I'm not coming back. I'm just gonna keep playing it forever. You know, they announced Elder Scrolls 6 about like 20 years ago. There's a trailer out. Waiting for any updates on that. You know, that's what happened. They did put out an online game I did not enjoy at all. And yeah, so I'm staying with this one.
It's kind of crazy how they're just taking so long to make. Because I think they're making the next Fallout. Right?
And here's my thing: Fallout 4, not everyone's favorite. Okay.
Got a couple whoops.
Listen, I understand that New Vegas is better. This was just the first one I ever played. Okay. Strong start. You know, you see how the bombs drop. You haven't seen that in any other game. And I don't know, with the show coming out recently, I replayed this, and it's just such a strong game in my opinion. Plus, I get to do whatever I want. That's what I like about the Fallout universe. You can really just play it 4 hours without following the actual story. It's a fun time. I don't know, and I get to create my own character. I'm never able to make it look like me, but I try every single time.
Nice. All right, Drew, you're up, buddy.
I'm up.
You're up.
All right, so let me take you back.
Somebody had to do it.
Someone had to, right?
Yeah.
Let me take you back. This might even be like what I was about to talk about. I haven't seen this.
This is all a surprise for me.
1997. I'm like 9 years old, right? I don't own a PlayStation yet. I've heard about them. I've had a friend who has one, right? And I see a commercial for Final Fantasy VII. I don't know anything about the Final Fantasy series. I've never played any of the games. But I'm so enthralled by just what they showed in that commercial. And the voiceover, I don't know if anybody remembers this commercial, but it's like if he fails, he can always hit the reset button. You know, that commercial, right? And like, it looks like nothing I've ever seen before. I get the game, and I don't know it's an RPG. The only RPG at that point I ever played was Super Mario RPG. And I know nothing about turn-based games. I don't know anything about stats, weapons, anything like that at all. And as a 9-year-old, you know, it's a little complex, a little over your head. But for the storytelling in that game is so strong. For me, I mean, it changed the way that I think about storytelling forever. Because it's like equal parts like a deeply political drama, a soap opera, science fiction, and then like magic and fantasy, you know? And it like combines all of these things. Granted, you know, like in retrospect, like some of the localization isn't that good. The translation got kind of, you know, crappy in the middle at certain places and stuff like that. You know, this guy, Arsic. But it's like, despite all of that, it managed to stick with me. And also, it has one of the best soundtracks ever. The music in Final Fantasy VII, I one time, totally true story. I was dating this woman, right? And I say to her, it's the first time I dropped the L word, right? And she goes, "How do you know that?" And I said, "Because you make me feel the way this makes me feel." And I put on the Final Fantasy VII main theme. We broke up, but it is true. That song gives me that same feeling to this day. And I don't know if that's nostalgia or if it's just good composition. But it's got to be something. I love Final Fantasy VII. I just finished Rebirth like a week ago, and it's rad. I love it so much. So that's my first pick. It's my favorite game of all time. It probably will be until the day I die. What else did I say? Oh, Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 2, the first time I ever played Resident Evil 2, I didn't understand how to play it, anything like that. Again, you know, I'm like, it's around the same time, I'm a kid. I don't get like, oh, you don't kill everything, right? It's about resource management and stuff like that. But the atmosphere of that game, it is so damn scary. For like a 9-year-old kid, 8-year-old kid, however old I was. There's the moment when you're running through the RPD and you're going through the hallway with the boarded up windows, and you've already gone through that area, right? And as you're coming through, the arms come out and grab you. I remember screaming so loudly that my dad told me I had to stop playing the game. Not because he was worried that I was scared, but he thought it was annoying. And I think I played the original Resident Evil, or at least the director's cut, probably more times. But 2 just has like the fact that there's 2 campaigns that like interact with each other. That's such a cool idea. I really think, if I'm being honest, I think that's one of the weaker parts of the remake that they did for it. They kind of are just their own story. They don't really do the same thing that happened in the original, where like you leave an item, or how you interact with the world influences how the other character would, stuff like that. But that original Resident Evil 2 from '98 is so good that it will just live in the back of my mind forever. What else did I say? I think this is where I got old. Donkey Kong Country 2. The best game on the Super Nintendo.
Facts.
It is. Again, fantastic music, but
Music, yes.
it's so much fun. Like I go back and play it every now and again. I'm 36 now. I've played this game 1,000 times. It is still so much fun. There's so much bonus content. I don't know that I ever found every bonus level, but it's just the way that they introduce, or like they give you the different abilities for Diddy or Dixie. You got to figure out which one's the better one for the situation. I mean, not exactly a novel concept at the time, but it was great. I don't think you have to play a video.
I just want to see it.
You just want to see it.
Let's do it. Yeah. Oh man.
Also, listen. I told you I'm 36. I was 35 before I figured out that Diddy's Conquest is a pun.
Oh. There's a common denominator here. Good music.
Yeah.
The soundtrack to Symphony of the Night is the soundtrack to October, as far as I'm concerned. If you play this game in October on one of those like crisp fall nights where it's just starting to get cold, I'm telling you, it's life-changing. First time I ever played this, I was familiar with Castlevania, but like, it's different. This introduced me to the idea of the Metroidvania, which is like one of my favorite genres of games now. I love like the Ori games, Ori and the Blind Forest and Will-O-Wisp. Those games are so good. Hollow Knight. There was one that came out a few years back called The Messenger. I love these like indie games that share this DNA so much, and this is where it started for me, for sure. Did I give you 5? Yeah, Last of Us 2 is, as an old person, you don't see too many people claiming like newer games. I loved Last of Us 2 so much when it was finished, and I realized like what I had to sit there and just contemplate what I had experienced when I got to the end of the game. It affected me in a way that I don't think that other mediums for storytelling can do because of the interactivity of it. I love Last of Us 2. I love Last of Us 1 a lot too, but I think the second one had just so much more of an impact on me. It's not gonna shake anytime soon. I don't think that another game can do that for me, and I hope that it does.
How about you guys? You guys got any games you like? Anybody? Oh, we got one. Oh, unless he's leaving.
He just gets up.
Okay.
I'm out.
There you go, you got it. Alright, so basically, a lot of people would, of course, be saying, like, Waluigi will never beat Smash, but, still on the Smash topic, my favorite all-time, it's more of like a hot take anyway, I consider Melee the best Smash Bros. Game.
Is that a hot take? Who thinks that's a hot take?
I know a lot of people who play competitively, and I don't think that's a hot take, according to them. I know people who love Melee.
So, for the first video game and video console, I was on the Nintendo 64. And, of course, a lot of people would understand, like, the first video game for many people to play on that is Super Mario 64. Mm-hmm. However, that was the third video game I ever played on there. And I actually played one of the launch titles. It was Cruisin' USA.
Yeah.
I remember.
Really good soundtrack.
I don't remember that.
The second game I played was Star Fox 64.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then came Super Mario Bros. 64. And but when it came to like that, it even introduced me to like my all-time favorite series, the Mario Party series, and I actually started with 3 while my cousin had 2.
Nice.
Yeah. A lot of people would expect, why didn't you start with 1? Okay, explain the pain in my hand.
I started with 7, so we're good.
Thank you,
I don't think-
Luigi.
I don't think I ever played Mario Party until it was on the Wii U. Yeah. Is there a Mario Party game on the Wii U?
Mario Party 2 was on the Wii and Wii U.
Okay.
And
10 is on the Wii U. It's the one you're in a car.
Oh yeah, that was not that good.
so I didn't know
This is the thing. I played Final Fantasy VII, and then I said to myself, Nintendo consoles, I don't need to own one of those.
Nice. Shout out Waluigi. Thank you, buddy. Yeah.
You mentioned Star Fox 64.
Yes.
I remember playing that game and being so hyped that like Slippy got mad when you shot him and like he said something about it. I just thought that was so funny when it happened.
Hey Einstein, I'm on your side.
What's the big idea? Yeah.
Next up, lay it on us, dude.
Hi, hello. So we have the what is a video game that means a lot to you. I'm going to take this in the regard of kind of nostalgia, and I think of my game that meant a lot to me was The Legend of Dragoon, a game that was an RPG. That
Anybody remember Legend of Dragoon?
It was a very formative game for me in the regards of like loving RPGs, but I was also curious because I see that Final Fantasy VII is on your list, and a lot of people call Legend of Dragoon a knockoff of Final Fantasy VII. I was curious what your thoughts were on that.
I mean, I don't think that you can really call. I don't think you can call them knockoff. Like, you know, they're different like that.
Inspired by.
Yeah, they definitely like they can be inspired by the same thing. I always like to say they share the same DNA. You know,
Yeah.
like they both. When it comes down to it, they all owe a lot to tabletop RPGs. So like.
100%.
You know, yeah, of course they're going to kind of be similar whenever they come out. Legend of Dragoon, I think, is a fantastic game.
It is. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
Have you ever listened to the side-by-side song of Final Fantasy VII and The Legend of Dragoon?
I haven't.
There's 2 songs. I would not deny the fact that Legend of Dragoon stole a song from Final Fantasy VII.
I mean, hey, the boss theme from Final Fantasy VII is just Motorhead.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, lay it on us.
So I just got 2 quick ones. I'm a huge Zelda fan. I'm pretty sure a whole bunch of people here are. So it's not, original. But
Somebody said.
Wind Waker is personally my favorite Zelda game. I'm not gonna, as Zelda fans, we all got our opinion on which one's the best one. But Wind Waker meant a lot to me just because of the age I was that I played it. It's one of my first, open world games. Not open world, but you can just get in, the King of Red Lions and just start sailing around. So, that just meant a lot. I like the ocean and stuff like that. So, it's kind of just cool to just be a kid and just, like I said, get in the boat and just start sailing. So.
Dude, imagine the guts that it took for the developers to completely change the art style from what was definitely working with Ocarina and Majora's Mask, right? And then just change it up so much. That had to be such a risk, and anybody who trash talks that game, I think needs to think about that for sure.
Well, I think as Zelda fans, we hate the game for 5 to 10 years, and then like 10 years later, you get like 20 video essays. Oh, was this really a good Zelda game? Were we sleeping on Wind Waker and stuff? So
I get it. I like Final Fantasy, so we're seeing the Final Fantasy 13 renaissance right now.
Oh wow. And then the second one is sticking with Nintendo, Paper Mario. Specifically, I know Thousand Year Door is considered the best one, but the first one for me, just because, like I said, I was like I think 7 or 8 when it came out. So I still play like traditional RPGs, but like for me, you know, the whole turn-based thing, it took a while for me to get used to it. So I just like the fact that like you know we had action commands, you know. It was more of an engaging combat, so I feel like it's a good game, you know, to get people into RPGs. So definitely was my intro into the genre, and those two games, like I said, just had a big impact on like pretty much every game I play nowadays.
Hell yeah! Yeah,
Nice.
Thank you, man.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, good. So when I was 4, I got the PS2.
Yep.
And everyone remembers those games, those video games they made after movies. You know, the really cheap games, like, you know, you got Madagascar, The Incredibles, Transformers, or The Simpsons Road Rage. But none of them compared to when my dad got, well, he didn't get me the game, he got it for himself, but I played it. It was GTA San Andreas.
I'm sorry, how old are you? I said 4.
Yeah, I was young at the time. But, you know, being at that age, playing such a big game, especially at that time, and there's a lot to do in the game. It's not like any other game where you play like the trashy PS2 games, you know. This was Rockstar, and this was GTA, you know, and it was so popular that basically every friend of mine, especially, had it, and I don't know why they did, but you know, they did. And I loved the game, especially with CJ, you know, catching a damn train and whatnot. It was hard, so it put a challenge of me being at that age to try to complete all the missions and whatnot.
Yeah.
And the second game of mine was none other than Modern Warfare 2.
Nice.
Classic.
I remember the lobbies back then, especially being at that age. I did not understand a single word, but having a trashy mic, it was really fun, especially making new friends on that game.
Nice, man. Yeah, dude. Modern Warfare 2. Thank you. So not to be rude, I think we'll do one more on this question because we do have other questions that we'd like to get to. So yeah, just a little heads up. So yeah.
All right, then I'll just make this quick. So the game I'm nostalgic for is a little bit more recent. Well, in my opinion, I mean I'm almost 30. It's a PS2 game. For me, it's Persona 4.
Nice.
Persona 4 was really a life-changing game for me because prior to that, I have played many RPGs. And I really liked them, but I didn't connect to a world, the characters, or like, you know, the gameplay as much as I did Persona 4. Even though it takes place in a small town and it has the most basic of stories. Like, each character had so much depth and it made a small town feel massive. And it also helped me build some confidence because for those who have not played Persona games, one of the biggest things is like social links or creating bonds with people, and it really had me look internally a little bit more to, you know, think about who am I friends with? Am I really creating these bonds? And you know, as cheesy and basic as it sounds, you know, but the anime, the power of friendship, you know, it really did leave an impact on me. And second game for me, this may come as a surprise to all of you, but Resident Evil 4.
I get it now.
Yeah. For me, it was my first entry into horror. You know, I was a big scaredy cat as a kid, but then my brother, wanting to see me squirm, had me play Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube when it came out. He was expecting me to be scared, which I was, but I was also very amazed. I thought it was a lot of fun. I loved Leon as a character. The gameplay was fun. I was not gonna lie, I was scared shitless when the Chainsaw Man came out, but I was still like,
he's a doctor.
Yeah, he's a doctor. I'm gonna assume from malpractice, however. But yeah, it really got me into horror, got me into different horror movies, horror games, and it grew into a love that I kept with me throughout my entire life.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. Alright, so next question we've got. What is a hidden gem from your childhood? Kind of similar, I guess. So everybody that was standing, I don't know, you can stand back up, I guess. Alright, so hidden gem from my childhood. Anybody remember Gotham City Imposters? Anybody? No whoops?
I remember.
Not a single whoop.
I remember the game. I didn't play it, but I do remember that, like, at the time, the Batman books, like, paused the main narrative to do, like, this story. And I remember being like, why did they do that?
Yeah, so for those that aren't familiar, this game is like a 4v4 kind of like arcade shooter. So the guy who mentioned Modern Warfare 2, kind of like that, but it had sort of different mechanics, like where you can, a little more goofy, where you're like bouncing up, you got like a grapple hook and stuff. Guess I don't have a video for it. Dang, it kind of sucks.
Was it multiplayer?
Yes, it was multiplayer. It was like 4v4, I believe. And you know what's interesting? It was developed by Monolith Software. And for those that don't know, Monolith Software, they did Middle Earth, like the Middle Earth games. So I don't know, it's very, very weird that this came out before then they started doing all the Middle Earth stuff. So I just thought it was very interesting. But man, sometimes I just think about this game, man, because it's four dudes pretending to be like the Batman, kind of like in Dark Knight, right? And then you got the four dudes on the other team that are like kind of trying to be in the Joker's crew. So it's kind of like, you know, team deathmatch, domination type game modes. But I just think the movement was so interesting. It's something you didn't really see in maybe like if you're used to Call of Duty or something like that. The grapple hook in this game is every game needs a grapple hook, man. Who's with me on that? Every game needs a grapple hook. All right. Next up.
I'm trying to imagine the grapple hook in Tetris.
We can make it work. Alright, next up, Christian hidden game. Lay it on me, buddy.
Okay, so
You made this up.
there's a video, buddy. Don't worry. I was never into sports, and you can tell that from looking at me. And my cousin was really into skating, but I wasn't good enough to play Tony Hawk. But if you give me the option of being in Andy's room, just like doing tricks in the bathtub, I'm gonna take it any day. And I love this game to this day. I've been looking for a new copy because it's up there with if you haven't played it, go out, look for it. It's incredible. You also get to create your own characters, but that's not as cool because you can be Tarzan.
Yeah.
Come on. I don't know. I don't think I have to say anything about this game. You saw everything that was important about it. Also, good soundtrack, simple plan, grow up. That's all I need.
So it had like a Tony Hawk like soundtrack.
100%, but more for kids.
That's awesome. So I guess I thought it would be Disney songs, but it was. Alright, Drew, lay it on us, dude. Hidden gem.
I'd be very surprised people remember this. So, I loved Heart of Darkness. If you don't know what Heart of Darkness was, it was like, are you all familiar with the Oddworld games? Specifically like the Abe's Odyssey, Abe's Exodus? Yeah. It's basically the same thing as that. Like, you are on a screen where like the background is just kind of like a repeated video. There's some kind of puzzle that you have to solve to get to the next screen, right? And that's the whole game. It tells the story of this kid named Andy who is afraid of the dark, and his dog gets, during an eclipse, his dog gets stolen by like creatures from this like planet of darkness. and he builds a spaceship out of just a bunch of junk and flies there. Like the plot is very bare bones and like so just really kind of like tossed together. But
this is kind of wild.
And then he touches a magic rock and it gives him like the power of light. You know, it's really fun. Also, the kid like when he dies, it's really weird, like gruesome deaths for a game about a kid, which I thought was.
Oh, wearing a hat.
Yeah, dog's name is Whiskey. It's not a hat; it's a pop.
Oh yeah.
No, sorry, he wears a hat.
Oh, the kid wears a hat. I saw the gameplay where he does wear a hat.
Yeah. This is kind of like the opening to the game. I don't know if there's any gameplay here, but like, you have these like dark creatures. I loved this game as a kid. I found out that it's actually not terribly well received at all. Despite like, I think it's just really, really solid. It's very simple, but it's always like when people say, "What's a game that people don't remember?" This is the first one that comes to mind.
Yeah, this is definitely a hidden.
I still have my copy of it.
There's the gameplay there.
I don't know if I want to remember this.
It's so much fun.
Nice. Heart of Darkness. What console is that on?
PlayStation 1.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
You made the slideshow, dude. You put that picture there.
All right, your guys' turn. What is a hidden gem from your? Actually, you know what? We're gonna skip this one. All right, a game that you'd like to see adapted to screen. I thought, you know, with the Fallout show doing super well, Last of Us doing super well, Sonic 2. I don't know. Is everybody into Sonic? I can say that. I don't know.
You all watch Pixels, right?
Okay, so I think a property or game or whatever that would do super well as a TV show. You mentioned Psychonauts earlier, Drew.
I did.
Yeah, I think Psychonauts would be so cool as a TV show, man. Anybody remember Psychonauts?
I remember Psychonauts.
So yeah, the thing with Psychonauts, right? For those that don't know, it's got kind of like a Voodoo Vince type art style. But I think that this could work pretty well as. Like, I always thought the cutscenes were really good. I think that could probably work. Maybe clean it up a little bit, but I think like the kind of like absurdist art style really works. And I think just the world of Psychonauts is really cool. You have like I don't know, like this agency where they are the Psychonauts and they go on all these different missions in people's brains, and all the different levels of the game were cool. So see that adapted into screen. I think Psychonauts could really work as a show, but. I guess they'll just only make 2 games, and that's it. So that's cool. Yeah, Christian, lay it on me, dude.
I don't remember what it said. Oh, it's Telltale's The Walking Dead.
Hey, wait a second.
I mean, I'm talking about this specific story. Yeah, we know The Walking Dead. You know, we all watched it.
This is going to tell me it'd make a good comic book.
Oh no. Well, this one actually did get a comic book, so.
Also, real quick, Christian, I just want to point out the file name you sent me. I don't know who named the file that.
I don't know. I just downloaded it from YouTube. I mean, it is what happens.
I guess we'll see. I like to watch it. Maybe close your eyes if you're not into some graphic.
I don't know. This is, by the way, this is the saddest video game I have ever played. It made me cry, and then I told my little brother. Well, it's been like 10 years since this came out, I don't know. I told him he should play it, and then I cried again just watching him. I didn't even watch him play the whole game, just like 5 minutes, and I cried again. It'd be a great movie. I don't know what else to say.
And I think, you know, people might say, oh, because it did so well as a narrative like story, maybe don't adapt it, right? But I think because it's a video game, I think that The Walking Dead, like, there's more Walking Dead fans than people that play The Walking Dead game. You know what I mean? So I think you're right, Christian. I think that would be really work well as like a movie or something. But
and also, it's just for me, so I don't care what people say. I would like to watch this.
What about you, guys? Oh, actually,
I went with Xenogears, and if you don't know Xenogears, it was like the game that almost was Final Fantasy VII, and then they were like, this needs to be its own thing, right? Cool. And so we got like I think it would work really well as like an anime series because, first of all, the cutscenes in the game were already like anime. You got giant robots. You have this story, psychological story about like the separation between the id and the ego. You know, it's already like basically Evangelion, and there's like there's a whole religious aspect to it. You know, there's like the destruction of God and stuff like that. It's an anime. I just think that it would be a really it's a relatively obscure game now. I think that it could get new life if it were to be adapted into like some kind of serial format. Maybe like like a mini series. The anime is done a little bit differently than American TV shows, where it's like they're going to do like a shorter episode count. I think it'd be perfect for that.
I mean, I haven't seen the Castlevania show. Has anybody seen that? But I hear that's pretty good. Does it hold up? Is it a good adaptation? Would you say?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Has anybody played Xenogears? It's so good, isn't it? It's incredible. Yeah.
The crucified choo-choo. You remember that scene where they crucified the weird pink thing? It's on a cross. It's crazy.
Yeah, I remember that. It's great.
One of the last puzzles was like literally a Sudoku puzzle.
Yeah.
It was before Sudoku like blew up here in the States.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I was like, what's happening in this game?
There's like a dude who lives in the sewers in it. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's got everything.
That guy's name is Fei Fong Wong. Come on.
Yeah.
Alright, we're getting to my favorite category. Not gonna lie. So tell us about a video game related thing. No video game itself. That's the rule. A physical object or item from a game. So we're talking like maybe like peripherals and that sort of thing, right? So I'm gonna play a little video for you guys.
I genuinely don't remember how I answered this question. So.
Yeah,
I'm on the edge of my seat.
I'm excited for you. All right, so the gaming peripheral that I want to talk about. So you guys like Rock Band? Who likes Rock Band?
Oh yeah.
Rock Band? Yeah. Any guitar? Yeah, Rock Band, guitar, those types of games. So they made Guitar Hero for a console that you might not think would work.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Does anybody remember Guitar Hero on Tour?
You know that was like they came up with the name for it first,
Before
and they
they-
were just like, "Now what do we do with that?"
And it's so weird too because there was like a game Rock Band Unplugged. They might be developing the same like harmonics or whatever. I'm not sure, but Rock Band Unplugged, they just had you switching the track with all the different instruments. Like
This without sound is hilarious, by the way.
That's true too, yeah. But okay, so the thing I wanted to bring up, and I thought it was so stupid. So I used to play this game all the time because I'm a big Guitar Hero Rock Band guy. But it was on the DS Lite had the you pop the Game Boy game card, right? So maybe people can see where I'm going with this. So when I broke mine, and then the parents they hooked me up for birthday, they give me the DSi. You guys see where I'm going with this? Yeah, you literally just can't play. It just worked. You can't play the game anymore because there's no way to do like the frets. So I don't know, man. They did not future-proof this game, but it's got fond memories of it. Got fond memories of it for sure. Oh, real quick, I used to go to my parents put me in like a religious daycare or something. So when I'm playing this song, and I think it was. Who did the All American Rejects, like Dirty Little Secrets or whatever, is on this, and they took it away. And I'm like, what? All American Rejects?
It wasn't because of the content. It was just they were trying to make you have better taste.
They're like, so yeah, that was what I want to talk about. This weird peripheral and my inability to play it with the DSi. Christian, lay it on me, buddy.
Oh, I didn't say like a physical thing. I went against the rules.
No. You sent the.
It's like them falling. Yeah, nothing else. So yeah, it's like I said, never good at Tony Hawk, and I think people love skating games because they're really into skating. I was never good at skating in real life, so my favorite thing in a video game was this. you had the like it was a competition of who could like fall the most and break the most points, and I just loved it because it was the perfect mix of like, hey, I would love to skate, but I'm not good at it, and I feel like they made that for me.
Let's watch that back one more time. I just think it's. I mean, that's crazy.
It's not a physical thing, but like it's one of my favorite video game features of all time.
Yeah, totally.
That's like Skyrim.
Look at that form. Perfect form.
Lay it on me, Drew.
Oh, mine's the catch-up. Metal Gear Solid. You're all if you're not familiar, there's this.
I have a video to accompany it.
There's this moment in Metal Gear Solid where like Solid Snake has been taken captive, you know, and like he needs to get out of the room real quick. So he takes some ketchup and makes it look like he's bleeding out, so that a guard will come and be like, "Oh my God, what happened?" And then you beat up the guard, and then you leave the room. And the reason why I picked this is because I think that there's a lot of little things like this in the Metal Gear games. I actually almost picked cigarettes from Metal Gear because like I thought it was so interesting to use the cigarettes as like a thing in the game, you know, where like, oh, if you use the cigarettes, like you can see the lasers, you know, so that you don't spring the trap. But they're bad for your health, so your health will deteriorate, right? And like just little things like that, I think, is what makes the Metal Gear series really special. Is that there's just like this very like, I don't know, like customizable ways to play the game, because you don't have to do this, but you can if you have the item at that point. It's just like a way. It's just a fun way to think like outside the box. There's so many of those in the Metal Gear series. I mean, I could have picked any of them, but I picked the ketchup.
Yeah, so thank you, Drew, for the ketchup. Dude, I was so confused. I had to do some research myself to all right, so we're running a little bit low on time, but we want to give you guys more opportunity to speak. So tell us about a video game related memory. Anybody got any video game related memories? Please step up to the mic there, and we'll I guess we'll do 3 and we'll give you these books because I don't want to bring them back home. So.
No, seeing that page of Metal Gear Solid for the PlayStation reminded me of like how close me and a friend came to just misguiding our lives from. I mean, now we're after college, we're in our post-college jobs. At the time, he was playing Final Fantasy VIII, and I was like, dude, you're spending like hundreds of hours on this game, you're wasting your life. You can play Metal Gear Solid again.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
So, as a GameCube kid, I was really into Animal Crossing. Obviously, original
Nice.
population.
Yep.
And you know, I would have been like 4 or 5 when I was playing it. So I had very moderate literacy. So how was I really enjoying the game? I couldn't read any of the dialogue. But there was one fateful day in the menu. I must not have known what I was doing, but I deleted my original town. The crying and throwing up that occurred after this. Everything was gone. Everyone I knew. The fact that you could have 15 residents and all of them were gone to the ether, lost from my memory card forever.
That's actually the saddest thing ever.
I still think about them today. So there's my memory. Thank you.
The UK Slider was playing a ballad. You brought up something that I want to do like a show of hands. Who in the room thinks that because you played video games when you were younger, it actually enhanced your literacy skills? Because I 100% believe that about myself. Not just like the physical reading, but the ability to like interpret storytelling. I think that video games obviously get a bad rap just because like any form of entertainment that kids spend a lot of time on is going to. But there is so much to be learned from like if we were to study what video game storytelling does to literacy rates, and I wish that was a study that was happening.
It's not so much like reading the words; it's the actual different things you can do with the medium.
Your cognitive process, yeah.
100%.
No, but I mean, like in a book, it goes Solid Snake had to shoot the boss. In a movie, they like the actors sweating and they're doing their best. In Metal Gear Solid 3, the game stops and only activates that single trigger on the controller. If you want anything else to stop looking at the body, you have to press the trigger.
Yeah.
And that's a whole different way of interpreting,
smart design too.
Yeah. I've said this before. So I teach English, and so I'm always talking about literacy. It's like the thing that I'm always talking about. And I have said before that I think the next, I don't think we've gotten there yet, but I think the next big breakthrough of innovation in storytelling is going to come in video games. And there's no doubt in my mind that it's going to come within the next 20 years. We're going to do something that has never been done before. And it's going to come in video games.
I'm a teacher too, though I think the same too. But teenagers also have the brightest minds. You think that now that game developing is getting easier and easier for people to get into, like a whole new generation of storytelling.
And it's exciting to see where that creativity will go.
Man, lay it on us, Steve.
For me, Soul Calibur.
Nice.
Now, it's up for debate which one's the best, but it's not necessarily because it's the best that makes this one the best for me. But I'm a very social gamer, and so when I had moved back from my college town, my buddy and I would always play Soul Calibur 4. And this was in the early days of YouTube. And so we were like, man, we should create a channel. What would we call it? Two Fat Guys on the Couch? No, how about Soul Calibros? And we didn't. But we spent so much time just creating characters, fighting each other, all that kind of stuff, that even if it isn't by definition the best game, yes, it is.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
When we were talking about the literacy in video games, that was when I decided I had to come up. Because my favorite game ever is The Last of Us Part 1. It changed my life. I played it when I was in college, and it made me realize that I want to be a parent. Obviously my relationship, I am not Joel, but I appreciated the relationship that he had with Ellie. But that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is The Last of Us Part 2, because it took 10 years for them to come out with the second one, and I had all that time to play The Last of Us a couple times a year for just loving it, And when it got to that part that I won't spoil in case you haven't played it, there's a part that involves golf near the beginning that is soul-shattering, if you know what I'm talking about. I had to stop playing, get up, and walk away, and I cried. I just had to cry. I was I love the character. The character is not a good or evil character in my opinion, but I think that speaks so much to how storytelling has developed in video games over the past, since they've been developed. And I think that as time goes on and as generations evolve and encompass, everybody, I feel like there is a greater appreciation for video games in general, because I feel like older generations used to think of Tetris and Pokemon, just things not to be taken seriously, but it is an art. And I just wanted to bring up, I feel like that's being appreciated.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for sharing.
That's why I disagree with you. You said video games are going to do a storytelling technique in the next 20 years. I disagree. I think it's already happened. Without spoiling Last of Us 2, I will use a game that does a similar thing to a horror effect. Legacy of Kain Defiance.
Okay.
The end of the Legacy of Kain series. In that, there is the sequence where Legacy of Kain.
Thank you guys for coming out, by the way. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Have a nice C2E2. Thank you.
So you have Blood Omen and you have Blood Omen 2, where the player character is Kain. You have Soul Reaper 2, where the character is Razi.